Hello, it's Ashley here. Welcome to my channel, Createful Art. We are celebrating Createful Christmas, where we make a whole bunch of Christmas decor. Today I'd love to show you how to paint this cute little church building that is decorated for Christmas. Before we begin, be sure to hit that like button if you are enjoying my videos, and be sure to subscribe and hit that bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified whenever I make a new video. There's a color mixing handout and a reference photo that goes along with this tutorial, and you can get access to the real-time full tutorial. If you'd like that, go ahead and become a Createful Art member. You can go ahead and sign up right here, or there is a link in the description. So let's make sure that we have all the supplies we need handy, and then we can relax as we paint. To sketch with, I'm using a acrylic painting pen. This is so I could keep the lines that I have created as I sketched, but if drawing is difficult for you, I recommend using a watercolor pencil so you can get rid of any of your lines you don't want to keep. It's also super helpful to have a ruler so you can get some straight edges and measure while we do our sketch. You'll need a square surface to paint on. I'm using an 8x8 inch canvas. Then you just need 3 brushes, your round brush, which is usually a 6 to 8, your detail brush, and a 1/2 inch flat brush. Then you want to have your paints. Make sure you have the 5 colors that make all the other colors up, and I have listed them in the description below. For this painting, you'll need a green for your trees, a light blue, a light tan, and a light gray for your background, and then a maroon for the door and a brown for your trees as well. And then have black on the side and white. And you can use your reference photo to help you match the colors. I always encourage you to be creative, so if you want to choose your own colors to paint with, great. My membership also offers weekly art lessons that will help you become a better artist. Alright, so let's start creating. So grab your 1/2 inch flat brush, and we're going to go along the bottom here and create a snow line. So it's just going to be wavy basically, and about 1/4 or 1/3 of the bottom part will be snow. Then you fill in the top part with your gray, your light tan color, and you can even add a little bit of the light blue if you wish. I don't worry about the placement of my colors or my brush strokes, so I make sure I cover all the canvas up here at the top. Now you can grab your old toothbrush or a bristly brush of some sort and add white to it. And because I use heavy body paints, I need to add a little bit of water to it so that it will splatter. And then I pull back with my finger just like this and let go. And this will splatter white onto the sky and make it look like snowflakes. So now it's time to paint in the snow, and we're just going to grab white and your 1/2 inch or inch brush and fill in the white area on the bottom. So now we're going to make a brown color. You're going to take your black, your magenta, some yellow, mix them together, and this is what you'll get. I'm using a 1/2 inch brush because they create great lines. I'm going to start here on the right side above the halfway mark, and I go just below the white line. And I'll thicken the bottom part, following it up so that the bottom part of the tree looks a little bit thicker. I'm going to do that same thing on the left side, but this time I'm going to start at the white line and then take that line up to be a little bit shorter than the tree on the right, and that makes it look like it's more in the distance. So there's something about doing things in threes, so I'm going to add one more tree, and I'm going to put it on the left here, down about in the middle of that white, or a little bit above the middle of the white, and go up, 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 past those other 2 trees. So let's go ahead and put that brush away and grab our round brush and our green color, and we're going to use it to create some branches on our trees. This is a great time to get the reference photo to help you paint these branches. So basically, when you want just the little points at the end of the branches, you want to make sure you use the point of the brush. And when you want it to be thicker, then you use your pressure on the brush to make it a thicker area. I like to scribble with my trees so that it looks like pine needles and it adds to the irregularity of trees. So I like to have some thicker areas and then some thinner areas, and I like to be random with my placement of my tree branches. my trees are not going to be the thick trees. They're going to have very few branches. So this is also a great time to get creative. You can look at some different types of trees. Your brush strokes and your trees don't have to match mine exactly. Once you're done with that one, you can go on to the next one. And then once you're done with that tree, you can go on to the next tree. So how are you going to make this tree look? I would love to see your finished paintings when you're done with them. You can share them with me in our Facebook groups or on Instagram when you tag at Createful Art. Alright, so just finish up your trees and we can go on to the next step. So now we need to grab a ruler and our pen or pencil or acrylic marker, and I'm finding the middle of the canvas, which should be, for me, 4 inches. Then I mark where that's at the top with a dot. Now I take my straight edge and I go straight down and I mark about an inch below that mark with another dot. Now I'm going to lay my ruler on that dot so that it's a straight horizontal line, and I'm going to mark 1 centimeter on one side with a dot and another centimeter on the other side with a dot. Now I can use my ruler as a straight edge and follow those dots from the top to the left side, connecting those dots with a straight edge, and then do the same thing on the right side. And I like to make sure that my dots line up and that where I put my pen mark, it won't be off. And then I'll do that on the bottom, and I made a triangle, a perfect triangle. So now I'm going to use the straight edge from that left side corner and go down. And then on the right side, I'll do the same thing to the same point. Now I'm going to make a line from one side to the other just below those lines, and then meet the edges to those sides. And you can measure out the distance on both sides of those to make sure that they are equal. Then use your ruler to make a straight line that goes down from those 2 edges on the left and right to make a parallel line, and just go down like a centimeter or a little over a centimeter. So now I'm going to draw in the window, and I'm going to make sure I start at the top in the middle, and I'm just using my triangle point at the top to follow along. And then I make 2 curved lines on both left and right, and then a line at the bottom. I'm going to draw a line in the middle of the window, and then a couple lines going horizontal across. You can eyeball this like I'm doing, or use your ruler if that helps you. Okay, so down below that I'm marking the center, and I want an equal amount of centimeters on both sides of that dot, as far as I want on the left and right that church building to go out. So this is as big as the building's going to get. Mark the middle, and then the left side and the right side with a dot. So now we're going to create another triangle. We start at that dot in the middle up there at the top, and then we reach over to the right side and match up those 2 dots and create a line. And we do the same on the left side. It's just dot to dot. I've got to move some things out of my way here. I'm going to have paint all over me. And hopefully I'm not going too fast. Anytime you just need to pause the video and catch up with me, go ahead and feel free to do so. So now I'm just going to create just a little short line down at the bottom of those 2 sides. That's the roof line. And start drawing in a window, again, right below that dot at the top. It's a similar shape to the window above it, but it's going to be longer. So I'm going to go down about an inch and a half down below it and just make a line, and then make sure that that line reaches the same equal distance on both right and left, and then curve on the left and right lines up to the point. And then I add a couple horizontal lines and then a straight line down the middle, and you can use your straight edge to help you with this or eyeball it like I am. So you see where the width of the lines are for the steeple. I'm just going to go out just a little bit more than them, just a centimeter or so, and create some vertical lines on both sides of that steeple, and then a vertical line on both the right and left side of the triangle roof line. So I will run into my tree just a little bit on the left side, but that's okay. Now I'm going to draw in some windows. On the left side, I'm just going to pick where I want the window to start by creating a horizontal line and then coming up and making a round shape. And a line in the middle and 2 lines on this side. Then we have the door, and I'm going to line up the door with the edge of the window above it and just create 2 vertical lines on both sides and then a horizontal line on the top. And then I'm going to round out the top from left to right. That's just a personal preference. You don't have to do that. So you can get creative with this step and create whatever door you want. It's kind of fun to just play around and create something different. Now it's time to paint our church. This is going to be fun. Basically, the church is just white, but the shadow areas are going to be gray. So with my 1/2 inch flat brush, I'm just filling in this area with white. So this is a great time to grab that gray color and add that to the bottom of your church and go up with it, mixing it with the white and leaving some of it white right there at the top. So there will be contrast between the snow and the church. So next is the right section of the church, and again, just white. But the right side of the church is further back, so we want to add gray to our brush, and right up against that line, add the gray right there and just kind of softly push it over to the right. Let it dissipate to the white. So you want the very edge of the right side of the building to be white. The line in between those 2 shapes need to be straight white. And I'm using a thick amount of white. With a thicker amount of white, it'll be a brighter white. On the left side, I'm just going to turn my canvas over so it's easier, and I'm just going to start with the white line. That way I can edge it when I'm painting in the rectangle on that side. Sometimes you just find out that there's an easier way to do something as you go along. With the same thick white, I'm going to add that to the bottom rectangle underneath the windows. I'll fill in that left side of the rectangle, and I just make sure that it's a little bit different of a color than the white line next to it. So I want to make sure that there's a value difference there. So if you need to add a little bit of gray to your brush, go ahead and do so. I want the windows to look like they're stained glass windows, so I'm going to add a little bit of color using just the edge of my brush, filling it in. And I'm going to put in some pink, some blue, and just some other random colors in between those lines. And then I want to make sure I have white on my brush, and I go down the center of my window following the black line of my sketch. And I'll also do that on the other lines going horizontal as well, following the edge of the window. And I'm leaving some of that black line that I used so that it'll create the shadow, and just going around the very, very edge. And if you go over some of your black that you created, that's okay. You can always put it back in. So now I'm going to work on edging the door. And instead of going over the black line, I'm going to go on the sides of the black line and just doing the same thing so that it'll create a very thin line. Just going to dab with the bottom of my brush and a little bit of paint on it. Before I can edge the left and right window, I'm going to need to put in the color. So I'm going to start adding in just the different colors in the window. Wipe off your brush, over here is fine, and then add black to your brush. And same thing that we did with the white, but we're doing with the black. We're following the roof line here. And just follow the line on both sides, and that's all you need to do. So all I'm doing right now to get the shiplap look is I'm separating lines with the white and the black or gray colors. And with the white, I add that in between. So right now I'm going to add in the black on the roof, and I'm just going to leave part of it not covered at the very top here, and then I wipe off my brush and I'll add white on top of it because the snow is piling up right there at the very, very top. So adding the snow on parts of the roof is a fun way to make it look like it's been piling up for a while. So basically all you do is have to get chunky with your white paint. So we're going to use these same techniques as we fill in the rest of the church. Now I'll grab my detail brush and I'm going to put it in my gold. You can use your yellow, and I'm just creating dots with the end of the detail brush where the lights will go on this line here. Now I'll grab my 1/2 inch brush and my maroon color and fill in the door. If you have the window above your door, I'm just adding some yellow to it so it looks like a window and like light is shining through it by just adding some of that color there. So now everything at this point is painted, and it's just about adding the finishing touches and your personal preferences. This, of course, is a great time to get creative. I'm going to add doorknobs on my door with black. I'm going to add some snow on my windows so it looks like snow's piling up on them. Now I'm going to grab my detail brush and I'm going to put in some greenery in these little flower areas outside the window. And what I like about this painting is that it's somewhat symmetrical, but not all the way. And so what I add on one side that should be symmetrical, I add on the other. So now I'm working on that wreath. So I'm just going to make sure that I go in a circle, adding these little pokes as I go around. And I think it needs more than that. So I'm going to add some berries to it with some dots with my detail brush. Now I'm going to make a bow, which is just 2 loops above the wreath and then 2 lines hanging down. So with a little bit of gray on my brush, I want to make this trail from the door to the bottom side of my canvas. Another thing I want to do is add a cross to the top of the church, and I'm just going to do that with my paint pen, but if you don't have one, then you can use your small detail brush. And there's always birds around churches, so I want it to look like there's some birds here that are going to seek shelter at the church. Now with my round brush, I'm blotching on some of the white, again thick paint, and it's going on the top of the branches. So work on it until you're happy with it. I'm going to wrap it up here. I would love to hear what you guys want to learn how to paint next year for Createful Christmas. If you ever get any ideas, just let me know in the comments. You can always ask for other videos as well, not just Createful Christmas. Great job accomplishing this painting, and if you want to show it off, go ahead and tag me on Instagram at Createful Art and I'll share it with my audience, or you can share it in our Facebook group. I would sure appreciate it if you would help me make more videos like this by hitting that subscribe button, the bell next to it if you haven't already, and the like button. And if you can share it with your friends and family, that helps too. If you're wanting to learn more from me, go ahead and sign up for my weekly art lessons, and you get the reference photos and full tutorials with that membership. I have a lot more Christmas tutorials that you can enjoy, and when you are a member, you get full access to all of them. We have so much fun in our Createful Art member community, so I hope you join us. I have a brand new tutorial to share with you every week, so happy painting, my friend, and I'll see you later.